Agud Voch Rabboisai. Mordechai. So I have some emails in Hebrew that I would like to read to you. This is from Avram Horowitz. Rebellia karva gishmak. I wanted to read you. You know what? I won't read it in Hebrew. Fine. I'll spare you. But you have to understand that emails is what makes everybody ask, what happened to, how's MDY? 30,000 people. No, this year, because we have emails. That's what it is. It's a mishpacha. And you make a mishpacha through recognizing that there's other people besides the people in this room. I know there's a lot of people here that were here from day one, but it's actually a shir that's universal. So all over the world, that's why sometimes I go to different cities. We have to incorporate all the people. And when you hear from other people around the world, you realize that it's not just people here, it's throughout the world, and they're alive and well, and they want to say something, they want to introduce themselves. Rabbi Yisrael, I'll introduce you to one of the most geschmackste kids I've ever seen, with a nice volume. Gary, you ready? You want to hear it again, I know. He said, ha. He's still learning, but it was with the Bren. It was with the Bren, huh?
Maybe you say it wrong.
Could be. We'll start doing a new one. All right. Rabbi said these are the sponsors. We have 4 sponsors for the Masechta. Each one of these people paid $9,000. Refuah Shelaima for Yosef Chaim Shmuel ben Alte Nechama from his grateful family. The second one is for Hatzlacha, Borukhniyos, ובגשמיות. This is how I like it. Nice and short. The Masechta is sponsored by Larry Cohn in memory of Yechiel Moshe Ben Chaim. He had to start learning the Daf Yomi at age 70 and continued for 32 years until he was nifter. The Masechta is sponsored for the unity of the Jewish people. Parnassa Chodesh, we have 4. Leilui Zechrya ben Moshe, Nishmas Rebbitzen Rechul, Yosef. Yosef and Chaya, Sara for parnassa berevach, as a zechus for our children and tremendous parnassa. Parnassa Chodesh, Leilui Nishmat, Yafa bat Simcha, Refuah Shelaima, Yisrael, Yaakov and Malka. Parnassa Shavua, Elliot Hagler, in honor of completing my 5th cycle of the Daf, and Mike Katz, who just started the Daf. Parnassa Yoy, Mordechai Sapoznick, Lzaicher Nishmas Rebbitzen Rechul, Bas Horav Aharon Wertheim, zechus May Nechama have an Aliyah, may she be made Yosef, the entire Mishpach and all of Klal Yisroel. Art of the day. Wow. First time. We have 3 sponsors for today's art. Art of the day by Mayor Schwartzmer. In honor of my grandmother's yahrzeit, Rivka Brindel Bas Yitzchok Isaac. The art of the month for zechus for rebellion and the whole MDY staff to continue to make Torah so enjoyable for so many. Art of the month in honor of Yossi Klein and Mark Ashkenazi for all the work that they do. Yosher Koyach. Rabbi Yisrael, what's your name?
Baruch Harris.
From Baruch Harris from?
Afula Elite.
Afula? Yeah, you were here before. No? I saw you somewhere. At the Siyum maybe? I just know you, Baruch HaKodesh. No, I saw you. Maybe this guy looks exactly like you. And these are your kids? Wow. And you drove?
Email.
Oh, that's how it is. One minute, did you drive in?
Yes.
You see how emails work? That's what I'm trying to say. Emails work. Shalom Aleichem. You're?
Naftali Grayman.
Not so new. Also, I'm one of these. I have to make a face. I don't recognize anybody. Even if I do it, otherwise I'm mamish. Look, who else do we have over here? Shalom Aleichem. You're new for sure. I was talking to Yossi. London. And you? Alicia's son. And you?
Jake Manis from Rabbi Josh Brody's son-in-law from Boca.
You had a kid then, and this and that. Yeah. You still doing it?
Remember, yeah, 2.5 years.
And he's still doing it for sure.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Wow. Send him regards. Who else do we have? That's it. What's the Shmuel doing here? What's the Shabbos? A Pella de Gazat. You brought somebody with you?
I saw people park outside.
Yeah. So you just came in. You got lost. Yossi, you brought your son? He's here. What's his name? What? Kalman? Kalman? Where's Kalman is here. It's your first time? No, it's not his first. Okay, great. Yivaldik, okay. Here we go. We have a big guest actually. Our boy Sai, standing ovation, really, for Dr. Factor. It's his first time here, Motzi Shabbos. It's unbelievable. I'm trying to see, is there a difference between the morning and the evening? One is the rebound of Ritalin, and one is like, right, it's like, it's gonna. All right. Zok the Heilige.
I'm not saying.
What? You just stuck your tongue out around that part on me? Says the Heilige Mishnah.
Who doesn't have children?
Here's my question. When you buy a lottery ticket, it's $1 billion. Like the other week, it was like $1 billion. You buy a lottery ticket. Is there any reason why the Rabbanan will say that you are puzzle for Eidos because you bought a lottery ticket? Any reason? Gambling. Well, you know, is there anybody in this room that doesn't buy a lottery ticket? Because you don't have money, you don't have money. It's a numbers game. But the people that buy it, they don't think they're going to win. They do it for the dream. They do it for the chalam, I don't think anybody thinks they're going to win. They say they're going to play the game. Kim Taran. All right. So we're going to see. Oh. Zok De'elegim Mishnah. Ve'lo me'apos apsulim. We were discussing Eidim, Dayanim. There are Eidim and Dayanim that are apostle. How do you become apostle? Hamisachik b'kubya. If you play with dice. When I learned in the Mir in Yerushalayim, there were people that used to sit on these milk crates right outside of the Mir, like around the corner. They used to play dice. They used to play backgammon with money or whatever. This is different games that you play. Your apostle Eidos. The Gemara is going to explain exactly how do they play it. V'hamalva beribis. And somebody who lends money with ribbis. If you lend money beribis, it's issa deraisa to lend money beribis. These are all things that you're not being careful with money. That for $1, you'd be over issa deraisa. So if you're over issa deraisa for a little money, then chances are that if you are asked to lie under oath, when you testify for somebody, you'll lie for money. What's the difference? You'll gamble for to make $1, and you'll testify. If you have a weakness with money, then maybe you'll testify falsely for money. Umafricha yoinim. The Gemara is going to explain different types of. These are people that they use pigeons to make a living. Let's call it a race, a pigeon race. That's one way to look at it. Pigeon race. Let me ask you all a question. You have to think quickly over here, okay? If there's a pigeon race and a pigeon took over the pigeon that was in second place, he just took him over. What place is he in right now? Second. Not first? No, okay, it takes a second. Here's another one. If the pigeon takes over the pigeon that's in last place, what place is he in now?
First, second. You can't take him over. Stalking foot.
Can't take him over. If there's a pigeon in last place, then you can't take him over because you're not. What? Like that Chinese runner? I saw that one also. That doesn't work. We're going straight. This is not the Olympics, my friend. I know what you're talking about. Okay. Yeah, you can't take over someone that's in last place because that means they're not in last place. Okay. Just wanted to make sure that you guys are sharp. You're on the ball. We can go weiter here. People who do business with fruits of Shemitah. You're not allowed to buy, sell fruits in Shemitah. You're not allowed to sell. You're not allowed to make business off the fruits of Shemitah. And if you have a taiva to make money off of fruits of Shemitah, then you might have a taiva to lie as a witness, as a judge, as a dayan. Omer Reb Shimon. This is a sugi we're going to see tomorrow. In the beginning, they were called gatherers of Shvius, of Shemitah, Mishrabu Hanasin, Chazru L'Krois and Soichari Shvius. This is, the Gemara has a few pshatim over here. But later on, they said that these people are dealers of Shemitah. One of the pshatim the Gemara says is that the poor people, they used to gather fruit on Shemitah, but then they would sell it. They wouldn't gather from them. You're allowed to gather fruit on Shemitah, but you're not allowed to sell it. So they called him Zechus Shemitah. We'll see the Gemara. Amar Rabbi Yehuda. Imasai, when is a gambler, somebody that plays with dice? When is he possible? When he doesn't have any other job. All he does for a living is he gambles. The guy's a lawyer, and at night he gambles a little bit. It's not the only one. A guy like that is kosher, says Rabbi Yehuda. Says the Gemara, what's the isser of gambling, of playing with dice? What's the big isser? So one pshat is, and the Gemara doesn't pass him like this, Mishum dahava asmachta. Vasmachta leikanya. We paskin that a asmachta. Is there any other seats here in the room? Because there's a bunch of people standing in the back. Shalom aleichem. Chaval. No, a seat, something, nothing. So maybe we get some plastic seats. Are there any in the corner or something? Okay, sorry. Shalom aleichem. Oh. Yeah. Shimmy, where are those seats? Maybe under, but they might be wet. Maybe underneath. Gary, where are the extra seats? Under the stairs we have, but they might be wet. Oh, Shimmy just brought in a bunch. Shkoyach. Noch nicht. Next cycle. Brachas Daf Beis. So, we learned about asmachta. Asmachta means when you don't think you're going to have to come out of pocket, you don't think you're going to lose, and you end up paying, the person taking your money is stealing. It could be stealing. When you gamble, you don't think you're going to lose. Because if you think you're going to lose, you don't gamble. You're not doing it for fun. You're doing it because you want to make money. So when you gamble with somebody else, let's say you think you're better than him in backgammon, and you gamble over money, and you end up losing, so he takes your money, he's stealing from you because you weren't goymer das. You didn't want to give over the money. It's an asmachta. Asmachta likanya. That's not considered a asmachta. Why? What is a typical asmachta? Asmachta is when somebody, let's say we have it a lot here in Eretz Yisrael, a contractor says, I will finish the job over here. I'll finish it in 3 months. Where's your soul, Shara? You know what I'm talking about? I'll finish it in 3 months. And if I don't, he says, if I don't...
It means 3 years.
Huh?
It means 3 years.
3 years. 3 months, 3 years. In America, 3 months is 6 months. He's saying 3 months is 3 years. I got it. It's something. I don't know what. It's never 3 months. Come out never. But sometimes they go like this. I'll finish in 3 months. And if I don't, they're not lying. They really believe it in their head. Varaya, they say, I'll take a penalty. I'll give you 50,000 shekel if I don't finish it in 3 months. How's that? But for that, I take a little bit extra than everybody else, but I guarantee you, that's an asmachta. Because he doesn't believe for a second that it's going to take him more than 3 months. Otherwise, he wouldn't promise 50,000 shekel. That's a typical asmachta. But a guy gambling on dice, that's not an asmachta, he says. You know what the problem is? The problem is that you're not helping out the world. You're not being productive. You're not being oisig b'yeshuva shaloylam. There's a real shiloh. I was debating if I should even say it, but it's a shiloh. What about a guy that all he does all day, he goes collecting money from house to house? Is that yeshuva shaloylam? Rabbanim talk about this. There's some Rabbanim that hold these pasaleidas. He's not oisig b'yeshuva shaloylam. He's not being productive. That's not being productive. Productive means you have a good job, you're a doctor, you drive an ambulance, you do something productive. Going from person to person, and you have zero risk, you're nothing, just depending that other people should give you money, that's not oisig b'yeshuva shaloylam. There's some people that say that. I'm just throwing it out there. Huh?
Rashi like that. Rashi says.
Okay.
He's not oisig b'masamata. He doesn't know the real world.
Doesn't know the real world. Not oisig b'masamata. Okay. Huh? If he, yeah, I'm talking about a guy that just goes from door to door for himself. A guy that's his job. He does it for yeshivas or whatever, and he takes a cut. So ask your local rabbi. It's not. Omer Yehuda. No, it's just I had this picture in my mind. You go to like one of these weddings where everybody's collectors, And then now they don't have an aid for the chuppah. So they find this American rich guy that doesn't go collecting. They say, you come up here. Oh, no, you have a cell phone. Forget it. Get out of here. So now they're stuck. So you have to have like a special organization that brings in special aid for these people. And, it's whatever. It's not pashut. My benayu. So what's the nafkimina lahalacha? What would be the difference if the problem of a gambler is because it's an asmachta and asmachta doesn't work and you're stealing, or because you're not oiz b'yeshuva shelo? The guy has a 9-to-5 job. He just likes he has a shtickle bad habit. He likes to gamble at night a little bit. So a guy like that, he's okay if the problem is yeshuva shelo. But if the problem is asmachta, it doesn't matter if he has a 9-to-5 job. He's a ganav. A ganav, you could do it 5 minutes a day, you're still a ganav. Tanan. Where do I want to say that? Hold on a second. Oh. Okay. Tanan. Omer Rabbi Yehuda Imosai. When is a person that plays with dice, when is he possible? Bizman she'in lem umnos elahu. When this is all he does all day. There are guys like this here. We had a good. I thought this is Givaldi just because the guy does a wheelie, nothing to do with the actual video. But I think you get a kick out of it. You can.
So this is the park. It's one of the biggest parks in Chicago. One of the most beautiful parks in Chicago, Garfield Park. Got my man's over there playing dice.
This is also great. They think he's a cop or something. So they start running.
One hand.
But it's like just typical on a typical block in any
play dice
city
one time.
in America.
I want one hand.
I don't know if they have
I'm sorry, man.
I don't know.
I'm sorry. All right. I gotta buy lunch.
Hold on. Put your feet on that. Hold on.
No.
Whatever. This explains a lot. Just the mentality. Give him $10. Chicago, New York, Baltimore, Cleveland, it's all the same.
I thought I get the roll, no?
No, you don't. You had.
Okay, but kids, you get the idea, right? This is a Masach B'Kubya, mamish with dice. They throw it on the ground, whatever number comes out. If they have another job, Ksherim. You see from this brayso, this is about people being productive. People that stand in the corner and they play dice all day, their issue is not so much stealing as much as that they're not being productive. Says the Gemara, Kashi l'Rami Bar Chama. Rami Bar Chama is the one that says the problem is a smachta, gneva. Over here we see the problem is different. So the obvious thing that would be here is that we have a little bit of machlokes. That this brayso is Rabbanon. Rabbi Yehuda at the end of the Mishnah, who actually he's the one that says the smach l'ikanya. Rabbi Yehuda argues. The Gemara says no. They're actually it's the same. Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbanon. Rabbi Yehuda is just coming to explain Rabbanon. So whatever Rabbanon say, Rabbi Yehuda says. When he uses that word a masai, like in our Mishnah, it says 2 lines from the end of the Mishnah. A masai, if they don't have a job. So a masai ubamed, or if he says bamed dvar mamurim, that ain't no far. So you can't say we have a machlokes between Chachamim and Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda and Chachamim maybe should open up a window. No, starting. Or Gary, maybe turn on the air conditioner. Cold?
Unless somebody changes.
Just stick a windows is Gishmat. It's gonna get cold?
No, I'm saying it's nice and cool outside.
It's good here. Okay. So, ain't another fire Ziv Chacham. So Rabbi Yehuda is not coming to argue in the Mishnah. There's no machlokes between Chacham and Rabbi Yehuda in the Mishnah. And even Rabbi Yochanan says, Rabbi Yochanan Omar Emasai lefarish, like in our Mishnah, uses the lashon of Emasai, so it's coming to explain. Ubameh lachloik. But, Oh, okay. I just go by the temperature. I don't go if it's on or off. I'm telling you it's hot. Emasai lefarish b'meh lachloik. I go upon him. The word Emasai comes to explain. Rabbi Yehuda is explaining Chacham. Udekule alma, doesn't matter if you're Rabbi Yochanan, if you're not Rabbi Yochanan. The bottom line is Rabbi Yehuda is not arguing on Chachamim according to these mandamrim. Says the Gemara, Gavra Karamis. Don't ask me a question from Rabbi Yochanan how he explains the word Emasai. Mar Savar Pligi, Mar Savar Loy Pligi. Maybe we do have a machlokes between Rabbi Yehuda and Chachamim. Ask the Gemara, "V'loy pligi." What is no machlokes? V'taya ben sheyesh loy umnos shaloihu, uben she'ein loy umnos elahu. It doesn't matter whether he has another job or doesn't have another job. Harei ze pasul. A guy that plays with dice, he's always pasul le'edus. In other words, we have a machlokes. Because Rabbi Yehuda is the one in the Mishnah that says there's a difference whether he has a job or not. And here's a bride that says it doesn't matter if he has a job or not. So you see there is a machlokes between Rabbi Yehuda and others. Says Gemara, okay, you're right, but not between Rabbi Yehuda and Chachamim. You don't have such a great raya. Why? It's somebody else. I hear Rabbi Yehuda Mishum Rabbi Tarfani. There's somebody else called Rabbi Tarfan. This high Rabbi Yehuda Mishum Rabbi Tarfan Loilam Ein Echol Mem Nazir Lefish Leinitnu Nazirus Elalaf Law. Goes like this here. You guys see this guy closest to us. He has very long hair. Now, you shouldn't be judging people, but these two people are judging him, whether he's a Nazir or not. So they have a bet. One says, if he's a Nazir, I'll be a Nazir. The other guy says, if he's not a Nazir, I'm a Nazir. So what's the halacha? Here.
Dude, I'm a Nazir, he's a Nazir.
Bad. I am a Nazir, he's not a Nazir.
Wow, it sounds like somebody I know, actually. He's actually sitting in the room now. I don't want to invite anybody. But anyway, cool. Maybe he did the voiceover. You never know. So what's the halacha? The halacha is that neither of them are Nazir. Now, again, what's a Nazir? We learned Nazir together, so we got to repeat. Nazir is a person who says, I'm going to make a neder to Hashem. I'm going to be a Nazir. I'm a Nazir. What does that mean? He can't drink wine. He can't eat grapes. He can't become tummy to a maze. He can't shave his head. If he just says, I'm a Nazir, how long is he a Nazir for? 30 days. So he says, I'm a Nazir if this guy that walked by is a Nazir. He has long hair. Well, he's probably a Nazir. Turns out, no. Like it happened to me when I made fun of this guy. I called him out in shir, and then it turns out he was just growing his hair to make a sheitel for a kid that had cancer. How silly did I feel? Oh, Yishmak. So, I don't know what happened. I don't know if I called him out or whatever. Maybe it was in my head. But afterwards I found out. I think I did call him. But anyway, my wife's cousin. So the halacha is neither of them are Nazir because it has to be hafla. Hafla means, when the Torah says, ish or isho kiyafli, means you have to know what you're doing. It has to be clear. And since it wasn't clear at the time when they said Hareini Nazir, because they weren't sure if the guy was a Nazir or not, it doesn't work. So the Gemara takes us a step further. That not being clear is like a sort of asmachta. I'll be a Nazir if he's a Nazir. You actually think he's not a Nazir. That's why you're willing to say you'll be a Nazir. You're betting. So that's not asmachta. You don't have Gemiras Das. You're not really into it. So Mela, it's the same Reb Tarfon that says by us also. If you're not into it, you don't know that why you're giving. If the guy owes you money, doesn't owe money, you're taking it because you want a gain, but you shouldn't really. So that's stealing, and that's somebody that's pasul le'edus. New sugi Rabbi say, malva beribus. So if I were to ask you, just read the words, malva beribus, somebody who lends money with interest. What about somebody who borrows money with interest? Is he also pasul le'edus? Yes. Why? It says in the Mishnah malva. Why did it say malva? You know how to read? It says malva with a patach. Or you're just reading the Gemara later and telling me what it says later. I'm being tough with you because you're just telling me Gemaras later. I'm asking the people that didn't learn this yet. Malva. It says malva. It doesn't say milva, right? Malva means malva, not a leiva. You still have to know how to read without nekudas, sorry. Says the Gemara, Malva beribis, Omar Rava, Lava beribis, pasul. Even if you borrow money, and this is the halach, you borrow money, why? But let me ask you something. Rebari, explain what you're saying. Even the leiv is pasul. He didn't do anything for money. He didn't do a isser for money. The guy lending, he wants the interest. The guy borrowing is losing money. Well, he's not. You have to be choshet somebody. You have to be choshet somebody. B'maminas. The reason why I'm pasul le'edus, I can't testify that somebody got married, that somebody borrowed money, because I'm known to borrow money and pay interest. What's wrong with that? I mean, it's wrong, but I don't do anything wrong with money. I didn't steal. I didn't do it. Yeah, but I'm not taking money. I'm giving money. I'm giving money. I'm not taking.
He's enabling someone else to do an avera.
Correct. But just because you help somebody do an avera, you talk lashon hara yourself. You're not supposed to lay this. It has to be something that you take money from somebody.
You couldn't get the loan without paying the interest.
Oh, okay. I could hear that. I could hear. You're not allowed to do a lot of things. You're not allowed to eat chazer, but if you eat chazer, you're not supposed to lay this. Only if you take money illegally, so you might take money to testify illegally. So it's taking money. Giving money illegally, it might not be a problem. But Rava says, I am wrong. Rava says, lava beribis, puzzletus. Giving money, giving the ribis, you become puzzletus. As the Gemara, nan, malva beribis, without nekudas, it says malva beribis, and not a loiva. Says the Gemara, milva haba beribis. What the Mishnah means to say is halva. Anything that has to do with the loan makes you puzzle, including the borrower becomes puzzletus. That I don't know about. I don't think so. Bar benitois asidu bei trei sadi. Great story, similar to what we had in a different sugya. There's a person bar benitos. Two Adam came and testified. I saw him lending money to somebody with interest. This is beautiful. I'm that guy. I'm the guy that borrowed money from him with ribis. So now we have two Adam that testified that this guy lent money with ribis. The problem is one of them is super biased. He's the actual borrower himself. So based on the testimony, two Adam that say that he's a lender with ribis, possible. That's Gemara Rava. Rava just said it 2 lines ago. The Omar love beribis puzzletus. How could he testify? Forget that he's biased. He's testifying that he borrowed money with ribis. That makes him automatically puzzled to testify. So how could he testify? Oh, how do you know that? What is that called in Gemara language? Vavale Rasha, Vatayra Amra, Altashis Rasha Aid. The Torah says, you hear this? All these people are like Rishaim. You can't use a Rasha as a aid. Says Gemara Rava, Tameid Amar Rava, Adam Karev Eitzel Atzma. A person is there's nobody closer to a person than he himself, and therefore, and a person cannot make himself a Rasha. You can't self-incriminate, says Dr. Factor. So if you can't self-incriminate, nobody help him. Can't self-incriminate. So how do we trust him that the guy lent beribis? He's testifying that he lent beribis, but you don't trust him that he is. You hear the Shiloh? What's the answer? The answer is palginin de bure. We take what he says, and we. That's later. Later. Yeah, I see. I noticed those. He's doing stuff on my screen. Don't worry about it. So, you can self-incriminate. So you have a sentence. You take half the sentence, you throw it in the garbage, that he's the borrower. The other half of the sentence, that this guy lent beribis, you use. Where do we have such a sugya? Kleiner Ravani, Lirtzaini. Okay.
So why is it like the beribis postulatus?
Why? You're asking me what the svara is? I think what Shamshi said. Because he's getting, he used money to do Isser. Anything with money, what? Yeah, but I already explained. It's not about Averis. There's a lot of Averis that you don't become possible. It has to be Avera connected to money. He got his loan because of money, because of his Isser. The guy wouldn't give him a loan unless he pays money. So paying money, anything with money. Right, but where you see that money influences a person. When money can influence you one way or another, I'll give you a loan on condition this, the Oiver Avera, fine. He was Oiver and Avera to get a loan. He received $100 on condition that he's Oiver Issa Rice of giving ribis. So you see that for money. What? Yeah. But I'm saying on the loiv also he has come to someone. Yeah. Says the Gemara. We said this already. More the Gemaisa. There was a shaychet Everybody's familiar with a very famous story that happened in Muncie. There was a shoichet who happened to be, he was more of a butcher, who happened to be a Daf Yomi Magachir, I think. And he sold a lot of treif to people. There's somebody in this room who had a fast. He ate some of that meat. He told me last night he had a fast. A lot of people had a fast. Some people threw out the kalim. People just discussed about eating treif. This guy was a frum guy, the whole thing. Could he do tshuva or not? He doesn't know who to do tshuva to. He can't even. So that's what we're going to be learning. Everybody can do tshuva. And thank you. So he was found to sell treif. My father told me a story about his grandfather, and after I heard the story, I understood a lot of things about myself, and about my children, about a lot of Stefanskys that I know. His name was Yechiel Stefansky. He lived in Switzerland, and he was the mashgiach in a certain. He was doing kashrus. And one of the stores, he told the guy, "This is treif. You have to shut down." So I said, "I'm not shutting down." So he says, "Okay." So he stood by the door, and every single customer that came to the door, he said, he said, "Da for Kaufman treif," but my guest on Shabbos, who says she speaks German, he say, "Here for Kaufman treif." So here for Kaufman treif. Few, hours go by, and the owner of the store comes to him with a knife. He says, "Either you're going to go or I'm going to have to kill you." So my great-grandfather said that he looks at him without any fear, and he said, the Gemara says, if you choshed on treifis, you choshed on retzicha. I came prepared. And he pulls out a knife, he says, "Let's go." And the guy backed down. And my wife, when I told her the story last night, she's like, "That explains it all." Okay. The poor wives of these Stefanskys, because they have to go through a lot sometimes. Okay? Vamarava. That's a backup to, that explains Nachman Seltzer's favorite story of mine with the guys on the train. You know the story, I'm not going to say it now. Oh, which story? Okay, so I'll say it. Haven't said it. He said it. He just said it, no? How long ago? What?
The escalator.
No, on the train.
It gets better every time you say it.
You gotta be Yosef. I'm always Yosef. I'm kind of Beshinui. Every time. I was going to Passaic. I learned in Passaic, and I was on a train. It was late at night. It was after midnight for sure. And there's nobody on that car. And all of a sudden, the doors open up between the trains. The doors open up, and 5 or 6 of these guys, and they start walking like this. I'm like, oh no. I'm like davening inside, and then they stop. They stop and they surround me. They make like the semicircle, and they didn't say a word. They just looked at me. So I don't know why. I was a crazy person then. I still am, but now I know better. Don't ever. I look at them and I like, very, very calmly and very stern. I said, "Which one of you wants to die first?" And it just continued to the next car. That's Nachman Seltzer's favorite story. Anyway, I got it from my great-grandfather. I didn't even know. Okay, Zok the Gemara. Pastor Rav Nachman said he's puzzled, keep on going. There's a famous ma'aseh with Reb Yisrael Salanter. He came to a city, and a guy walks over and says, "Are you a shaychet?" He says, "Yeah." He says, Awesome, come to my place, start checking. Okay. And then like an hour later, Reb Yisrael Salanter says, "You have $100? Like, 3 ruble, whatever it was in the..." He says, "I don't even know you, I'm going to give you money." He says, "That's my point. You don't even know me, and you ask me if I'm a shaychet, and you rely on me in my shchita? But you won't give me a small loan, right? So how can you rely on me? Who am I?" You're like, "Oh, you're shaychet. What if I don't know? What if I'm not a shaychet?" You have to be a lot more careful about shchita than giving out loans. So this shaychet wasn't good, and they removed him. Ozal Rabbi Mezaya V'Tufrei. You see, without Nekudis, it's a problem. You think Rabbi Mezaya, that's his name. Rabbi Maziyeh, he grew his hair long, V'Tufrei, and he grew his nails to be long. In other words, he's doing tshuva, he's menavel himself, says Rashi, he's making himself disgusting, he looks like a weird person. Oh, he did tshuva. Omalei Rava, says Rava to Rav Nachman, who's his Rebbe, Dilma Yerumi Kamarim. Who told you? I mean, it's a great trick. You grow your hair long. Okay, big deal. You grow your hair long, and then you're back in business. Elamai Tekante, so what do we do? Kiduravidi Barovin, Omar Ravidi Barovin. And now the Gemara goes into a whole list of things, how you do tshuva for different averis. You have to go to a city that they don't know you. You give back a very important lost item. You notice that he did it. He found a wallet of some sort or whatever, and he gives it back. That means he did tshuva. Givaldik Maisa, where a guy lost his wallet, and a person returns it to him. Nice, looking good. He gives back the wallet, and he opens it up. He looks to see if any of the cash is missing. No, everything is there. Givaldik. He says, "What do you do for a living?" He says, "I'm a car dealer." Okay, great. Kids, a few months later, the guy needed a car. So who's he going to go to? He goes to this guy. The guy's super honest. Goes to him, buys a car. A day later, the engine conks out, and he realizes that he bought a lemon. So he goes back to the guy. He says, "What's this? I thought you're an honest guy. You gave me back my wallet." He says, "Listen, time to give me back the wallet. That's a mitzvah. I sold you a car. That's business. That's different." And it's funny. It's a lot of people think like that. I know people who have told me this line from people. It's business. What do you mean? I tricked him into this. Isn't that business? They think that if you trick somebody, that's not gneva. And it's like it's a sort of like, I'm a smart businessman. No, that's not business. That is gneva. Shalom Aleichem, you're new, no? You? What's your name? I was just thinking about you. Because of the dapim, the chazara, am I right or wrong? At the end of the day. Bemis? No, but you're just saying it because you're on camera, or you really? Also. No, we had a big here. Is the thing. I'll say without no. If you don't want me to say, I won't say. I could say. We had an argument if this idea of skipping ahead when you fall behind is a good idea, and he said it works for a lot of people, not for me. I'm going to go back. I said, but you're going to fall. No, not me. And Lamais, I think you did fall shtickle here and there. No. But so how do you know I'm right then? Okay, whatever. I'm right. As long as I'm right. I'm not. Usually I'm wrong, but this time I'm right. Okay, good. Says the Gemara. By the way, there's an interesting Reb Chaim Kanievsky. You should look into it. Let's say you lose a wallet and you give up on it, and somebody finds it and gives it back to you. Reb Chaim Kanievsky paskins, you have to give meiser on all the money in the wallet. It's new. It's a new find for you. That's what he says. Once we're talking about Aveda, I could say the famous meiser from Itzkowitz. The Elam loves this meiser. There's a guy, he lost his money in Itzkowitz, and Baruch Hashem, he sees a sign on the wall, and it says, if you lost money, call this with. So he calls up the number. He says, I'm the guy that lost the money. He says, okay, thank you for the money. He says, what do you mean? You put up a sign. He says, no, I wanted to thank the guy that lost the money. I'm not giving it back to you. The Allah is, and I have to give it back to you if you don't have a simon. I put up the sign so I could thank you. There's some demented people out there. Anyways, Zog the Gemara. So if he gives back an Aveda, that's a Raya, that is a great guy. Oh, I forgot, there's another shir coming up in 9 minutes. Okay, don't worry, we'll finish our Amud Beis in 9 minutes. And Amud Aleph, whatever's missing. Let's say he shechted an animal and it's treifa, he throws it out. Says the Gemara, what are these birds? It's a race. It's a pigeon race. It's ara. What's ara? So ara means you teach a pigeon how to bring new customers, new pigeons in. So here we have a little video. Take a look. This will explain it all.
Bird brain. Today we are going to do some mafrika yonim. According to the second interpretation in the Gemara, you take this and hypnotize other pigeons and bring them here. It doesn't matter who they belong to. If you come back with 10 pigeons, you have dinner. Got it? Now go. you learn to do that?
In case you don't know how to do a status, basically you click on any picture, on any video, and you click on that thing that you can send it to somebody else. So one of the options is my status. You click on my status here, it shows over here, this is for Hebrew. And then the picture goes. The new parak is coming up, Rabbi says, it's coming up. Get used to this. People will see something like that. Okay, Givaldik. So different generations have different ways of bringing, but if you're a pigeon, you could bring other pigeons. Figure it out. There was a Magichir here on Friday. He told me that he learned pshat is that you have like what is it called? Those birds that kill other birds, falcons or birds of prey. But what do they have? Like in New York, you have hawks. A hawk. You have a hawk. In Chicago, they have hawks. Teach a hawk to go grab pigeons and bring it back to you. That's how he learned. Okay. Mando Amar. If you say it's a pigeon race and that's why you become puzzle, my time how come you don't teach that the pshat is that you're bringing other pigeons from other places and you're stealing basically? Think about it. Pigeons in the street, they don't belong to anybody. Sometimes you build a little dovecote and they come in there and they lay their eggs, you grab their eggs, but you never were kind of them. And therefore, I had this video, I know I'm running late, but I said it once in Shir, and here, finally, I saw, is this it? First of all, the New York accents are so beautiful. I mean, this is like, it's mamish. Whoever.
Assistance, guidance, and your efforts.
The efforts. It means efforts, whoever doesn't know. But I want to show you this stick. My neighbor across the street had this stick. And that's what the Gemara is going to say soon. It's clappers.
They all have my personal badge.
This is in New York, in Brooklyn.
Kinds of pigeons. Italian, Persian, there's booties, there's tiplets, there's rollers. You can keep going on and on.
They sell these pigeons, believe it or not. Does anybody like Israeli pigeons?
Looking at the birds, it relaxes me. It relaxes a lot of us. I don't know if you know what they say when you sit there and you watch a fish tank, and it's real tranquil and soothing. It's the same thing.
Oh, this is the stick I wanted to show you, and then I can go weiter. With the stick, he controls them. I don't know what. Okay, we'll see later. Zog the Gemara. Oh, somebody got excited. It's a horse race. Oh, so you're not stealing. So the guy gets upset at you. You took the pigeons, but they're not his pigeons. In New York, in Brooklyn, they're tagged and everything, so it is stealing. The guy that says that you're stealing other people's pigeons, why don't you just say it's a race? That's literally to gamble with dice. What's the difference if it's the dice wins or the pigeon wins? It's the same thing. I'll tell you there's a difference. When I play backgammon and for money, I'm relying on my own head. And then there's another type of gambling that you're dependent on an animal. When a person gambles on a game that he's playing, he thinks he's better than the other guy. I'm better than that guy, and I'm not going to lose my money. And when he takes my money, it's stealing. But if you bet on a pigeon, no. So you know which pigeon is going to win? No. So you're willing to give your money? And if you only told me the case of a pigeon, whoever has the better stick, like that guy you saw there's a guy, or he claps, he makes noise, whatever they do, so you think you're a better clapper. I know how to bang better. But the guy that depends on his own chachma, maybe not. Oh, I have to say the sponsors. Turn to the Daf, Berkovici family, and honor of the MDY Daf champions, Leo Shamshi Schlafrak, Uncle Freddie, Mr. Gross, and another sponsor, Refuah Shelaima, our fearless leader in chief, Chaim Gabriel and Sivi Lana, by the members of the Muncie Fire Department, and Yaakov Citron Films, Strategic Video Productions. Chaya. Meisvei. Amud Beis. Meaning that you play with dice. You see it on Ocean Parkway, you see it on those Russians, this. You see it everywhere. It's not only with dice. In New York, you'll see them play with the walnut shells. They do all this stuff. You know what I'm talking about? How do you do tshuva, Rabbi Isai? This is a big yesod for us. We all have our little vices and our little things. How do you do tshuva? Break those dice and have charata. And then it says another big thing here. You don't play backgammon for the rest of your life, even for free, even without money. If you have a problem, you have a habit, a bad habit, you have to break it completely. Malva beribis, somebody that lends with interest, even the loiva, even the borrower is possible. Ve'masai chazarosan, how do you do tshuva? Mishi karush tereim, you rip up the notes. V'yachzurim chazar gemura. If you rip up a note, what happens? It doesn't mean the guy doesn't owe you money. He still owes you money, but you can't prove it. So it's a big loss. You see this? Get away from your bad habit, from your addiction. Everybody has an addiction, right? It doesn't have to be drugs. It can be anything. You have addiction. Some people have addiction to the news. It's not the end of the world, but it's an addiction to sports. They need to know the sports scores all the time. They're constantly looking. Yeah? I have an addiction. I need to see how much snow fell in Park City. It's an addiction. No, I'm just... You know what? We all have our little things. You don't have to scream out what your addiction is. We all have an addiction. Some people are addicted to the daf. Whatever. That's a good one. So what do? You don't even lend money to a guy where it's 100%. What did you lend to a guy? Beribis. How do you do tshuva on that? So one way to mafrichi yonim could be that you have these pigeons fight against each other like so. Here we go. Shtickle pigeon fight. That's fine. Okay. I mean, we all know there's a famous football player. I don't know if I should mention his name now. It's like 20 years ago. Michael Vick. He was a multimillionaire. He's one of the best quarterbacks. But he had a shtickle bad habit. He used to fight dogs. He used to have dog fights. And then they put him in jail. They put him in jail, lost his whole life over it. These are bad habits. I know a guy in my block, a Frum guy, he was so addicted to gambling, he sold his house, he sold his kids' houses, his kids had this, everything. He lost his life. He divorced, the whole thing. Addictions. It could be animals also. Here, like, I guess that's what he put in here. I didn't see it. I hope it's good. It could be animals.
Lots of ways to pick a horse. Jockeys in the front of the program are listed as who wins the most races. Not even up there. The winningest jockey usually wins the most races. Lots of ways to pick.
Anyways, you get it. It doesn't have to be pigeons. It can be anything. Zog the Gemara. You break those sticks, the clappers, and you never do it again. This is going to the other type of gambling when you go and grab other people's birds. It's all mixed in there, but the point is you stay away from it. Those who do business with Shemitah fruit. How do you do tshuva? 7 years later, Shemitah, and you stay away from it. The guy has to take out of pocket money. How? I took from people 200 zuz of Shemitah fruit, and I'm giving it away to the poor. It says over here, an animal. So now the Gemara has a kasha. We were talking about horses. If you're talking about a race, so it could be a great thing. Animals, horses, race. So it could be on horses. But if it means to bring other pigeons in, how do you have the same thing with the animal? How are you going to send the horse out to go bring more horses? Well, if he goes into the jungle, says Rashi, they'll kill him. The lions will kill him. So how do you have a situation where a large animal goes out and brings other animals back into the barn? Huh? Who? Status. Good shot. Sheepdog. What does he do? He brings other people's sheep. Sheep. I hear. There's such a thing. Bishar Abar. When you're talking about a buffalo, come on, Chaval. I want to show you the picture of my leopard, but instead I'm going to show you Bishar Abar, pictures that we took in the safari. You can hear Gershom Ben Moshe here. Oh, here's another one. Bishar Abar. This is an American buffalo. Oh, you don't see. This is the picture we took in the safari. And this is a bison, but these are kosher. Now, Rabbi say here, let me show you. This I'll tell you real quickly. You might know the story, you might not. But we were shocked. Noam Fix, Avi Kamiansky, Gary, and Mendy Orbach. We saw a scene. We made it up ourselves as it went along. Basically, we saw a bunch of lions eating a baby buffalo, and it was gone. All that was left was the head. And I'm going to show you the lion running away with the head. Now, we saw a buffalo come, chase away the lions in anger. That means that they knew the buffalo had died. And then it started smelling the area where the baby was, no longer there. Smelling. So we decided that was the levaya, and it was a period of mourning. And they sat there for 10, 15 minutes just sitting there, mamish, umgesetzt. I don't know how to explain it, but it was like that. So here, I'm going to show you how the lion, they're chasing away the lion right here. It's hard to see, but in a second you'll see the lion run away just with the head. Or whatever's left there. Here's the mother. We decide this is the mother.
He's running. Where? He's running away.
And then there's a levaya. The whole.
I got it.
Be'ez Hashem, one day we'll do an MDY trip there. For those who are Zaycha. Says the Gemara. It goes according to Mando Omar. There's a shaila, is a buffalo. Is it a behema, a chaya? What's the difference, Rabbi Yosef, if it's a chaya or behema? Kisei Adam is one nafkimina between the chaya and behema, and chaylev, the chaylev of a chaya is mutadid. This would be chaya. This is Rabbi who? Avram Weisfish, thank you. Oh, this na and shara bar min behemo, Rabbi Yosef min chaya. Okay, Tana. They added to the list of people that are apostle eidos, people that steal, and people that take things with force, but they give money for it. This is a chamson. He gives the money, but it's forceful. Gazlan has a gemara there. When a young kid finds something, it doesn't become his. He doesn't have a king. But if you take it from him, there's a problem of shalom. So mikar saver mitzias charshay the katan l'shchicha. It's not so common. Inami mipnei darkei shalom ba'alma. Stop. The problem is that the father will be upset. But the guy was a Russia and took the money from the kid. In Russia, but he took the money from the kid. He doesn't care so much about money. He'll do anything for a buck. Paslinu Rabban said this guy is Pasal Eidos. I would love to say the beautiful story here of the golden coin that a lot of you know already, but because the Israelis are waiting here, we'll continue on. Says the Gemara, Tana, in addition, where are we? Oh, I have no idea where it is. In the beginning we thought, okay, listen, he shouldn't be possible like this. Why? Because he paid for it. It's not a big deal. Even the chazu, the kochatvi, it's not a one-time thing. It's not a kroy. This is what he does for a living. He goes and he sees the watches that he likes, cars he likes. He drops some money and he grabs. A guy like that, you can't trust for testimony. Tana. In addition to everything in the Mishnah, in addition to the Chamson and Gazlanim, Harayim, shepherds, Hagabayim, people that collect taxes, Vamoichsim, and people that take customs. Royim, Ikar Savakre Balmo. In the beginning they thought, okay, one time his animal went out there and ate from another person's graves from another person's field. But we realized that this is what they do. They send out their animals on purpose to eat from other people's fields. Goes Rabbanan and they made a takan. They don't take more than the king tells them to go take. They always take a little bit extra for themselves. Paslinu, they became puzzled. Regardless, it doesn't matter what kind of shepherd it is. Even if he shepherds larger animals like cows in Texas, he's also puzzled. Only if you shepherd smaller animals in Israel, you puzzle, but larger animals, you kosher. Roy behema gasa afilu be'eretz Yisrael ksherim. And in Eretz Yisrael, if you shepherd larger animals, you're kosher. What about David HaMelech Rabbi Yisai? Didn't he shepherd in Eretz Yisrael? Oh, he went very far away, and that's why it wasn't an issue. It wasn't next to anybody's field. They wanted to kill him. They said, go out there, never come back. Oh, when you bring up these animals, these cows, in your own farm, stables, whatever they are, in their own, what is it called? Pen. Oh, pen, whatever it is. Then if they're larger animals, we're not concerned they're going to run away. If they're smaller animals, we still have a problem. And that's why it's mutter, because you're megal them. It says in the Mishnah, I accept the power myself, 3 shepherds, but it doesn't say shepherds of smaller animals, larger animals. My lav leidus. The Chaya, the Mishnah is saying that these guys are kosher for testimony. It says, we're only talking about one thing, to judge. They can ami, diktani shloisha. It says 3. Must be that we're talking about a dintayr and not edim. Yeah, that's what the Gemara thought in the beginning. But listen, why do I need 3? That the whole mission is only talking about judging and not edos. Why are you talking about 3 shepherds? Any person, anybody here basically in this room is not really right to be a judge. We didn't learn it. We don't know it. Shepherds are the worst of the worst. They're so unfamiliar of anything that goes on between people, between humans, that they're on the bottom of the list of somebody that could be a judge. And even him, if you accept him as a judge, he could be a judge. Rabbi Isai, have a good Voch. Thank you so much for coming. Tomorrow at 7:10 sharp.